Hey, this is Pierre Delacote talking. Let's talk about Viva Insights for leaders, what leaders are expecting. So now I have a platform where I can show you what a leader can see. So leader might be somebody from either HR, maybe some C-suite members who wants to better understand how people are working with those tools. So they're gonna have a tab in their Viva Insights called not my team, sorry. Where is that? My organization. I thought it would disappeared. So my organization, and they have several dashboards in my organization that will give them insights on what's going on, uh, depending on the way they want to analyze things. So Microsoft organized different dashboards, so outcomes here. So you can see that there's a lot of outcome, and it's based on the signals that are coming from Microsoft 365. They look at the meetings, they look at the chat, the posting the channels, and they build those indicators, those dashboard, based also on data they injected in your system from your HR system. So then they can segment, per division, per whatever you injected in the system. So here are the typical dashboard. Um, so let's look at some of those dashboards. So enhance organizational resiliency. And you can see that the average weekly time spent collaborating after hours here, you can see that it's not big for this organization, so it's not very intensive. But maybe if you see that in your organization you have people who are working after hours, and in the tool for the admin, you can set up what are the working hours. That's how people can. That's how the system can find out if people are working after hours, sending email after hours, having meetings after hours, chatting after hours, and that comes here. So it can show you if you're maybe at a risk of burnout. Um, Another one, the distribution of monthly one-on-one time with managers. That's very interesting because if you see that, and it's the case here, you know, 44% of the people, at least total 47, have less than 1 hour of meeting per month with their managers. There might be an issue here that you want to manage. And every time it presents the result, the dashboard, there's some best practice that are proposed to change that. And they tell you maybe where you need to focus, what division is more concerned about the problem here. So that's the kind of information that is coming from the data you injected. So that's, those dashboards are very useful. You can see the team cohesion. So that's, it calculates how people are interacting together. So, if you're sending an email across division, that will show a link between the division. If you're chatting, same thing, meetings, same thing. And that's how they build this graph. So there are several dashboard like boost engagement. So you find this same data, this same dashboard, because sometimes the dashboard are coming on different perspectives depending on what you're looking for. Here's this drive employee empowerment. So that's where they can see that you have one-on-one meetings. So that means you take time to coach your team. So you can see how it's distributed. Let's see other one. What's that? Improve agility. I'm unboxing that with you. So you can see, the distribution of meetings. Are they large? Are they long and large? Are they decision meetings? Are they short? Or are they long and with a few people? So that's also show you how the meetings are managed. There's another one here somewhere about the meetings, transforming meeting culture. So I think we find the same data here. Um, Also here, you can see recurring versus non-recurring meetings, and you can manage what you mean by the length of meetings acceptable. You can manage a lot of those indicators in being an admin. I'll show the admin in a few seconds. Um, so distribution of weekly time spent multitasking. So that's also interesting because you can see if people are multitasking if they're in a meeting, because then you see that they're sending email during a meeting or chatting during a meeting. So that means they're multitasking. So there are other indicators: accelerate change, operational effectiveness. Um, you find other same indicators, different views, but same indicators. So the collaboration hours per week is interesting to see if people are collaborating. Um, and I guess I didn't check exactly, but I guess the collaboration is based on the features that are related to collaboration. Um, so how much time do people are spending in collaborating, and then there are some best practice or reassess recurring meetings. So there were not a lot of recurring meetings. So that's a good thing, I guess. Say no to meetings. So that's a good advice. And use Microsoft Teams to avoid meetings. So, when you say use Microsoft Teams to avoid meetings, is not to avoid, it's to avoid Teams meetings. So it's not using Microsoft Teams to avoid Teams. It's using Microsoft Teams with channels, because the more time you spend discussing in a channel about a subject, the less time you will need to be in a meeting, because then you will make faster decisions. So the meeting will be shorter, or even the meeting won't have to happen, because most of the time we see clearly that people are using meetings to catch up on what they cannot catch up in their inbox. So they're joining in the meetings to figure out where we are, and so that's a recommendation is to have those discussions that you usually have in meetings that are not very productive to happen in Teams channels, and the meetings should be there just to make decision. So a lot of indicators. I didn't look at everything there. Um, so same kind of indicator here. Establish new work habits. I'm not sure what it is. Oh yeah, so if people have time in their calendar to focus, or if they have back-to-back meetings, that probably show they're effective managers. Let's see what that is. So that's the time spent with people and what kind of meetings. This one is after hours collaboration, meetings with manager. We saw that already. And manager and cross group connectivity. So how people are connecting. So here, 89% of managers have significant opportunity to connect to new individuals and ideas outside of their teams. So I guess that's a good number. The foster innovation. So distribution of uninterrupted weekly time. That's the good indicator, because if you have an uninterrupted time, you have more time to take initiative, focus on what you want to do, and think about, for example, innovation. What can you bring on the table to enhance your job or your organization, your team, whatever it is. So that's a good indicator. So as you can see, there are several indicators. And what is also interesting, let me take one where there's a lot of dashboard here. I think here, if you click on download PowerPoint, it will build a PowerPoint based on the indicators. So I'm not sure, totally sure of that, because I'm unboxing it. So let's see if it's the case here. Um, so that's why it takes a bit of time. So maybe when it's doing that, I'm gonna show you the admin piece of the Insight. So you have a portal for the admin called Workplace Analytics where they have access to the same data. Oh, here's the document. So let's open it. So it shows, yeah, it shows the same data, and it builds a slide deck for you. So that's pretty cool, actually. I guess it's live. I guess it's based on. Not sure because here it says it's not a good date. So, oh no, it's it's yeah, okay. The dashboard was built, so maybe it's live data. I'm not sure. Since it took some time, I think it was not a deck that was pre-built, but since it's a demo environment, I'm not sure. So yeah, let's hope it's dynamic. So this is the portal Workplace Analytics. So let's see, we find those data. So you can have access. The admin can have access to the same data here, and all the dashboards. Uh, there is in the analyze section. There's one thing that is very interesting. And unfortunately, in the demo environment, I don't have the ability to build a query, but I just want to show you that you could build your own query. So let's get started with a query. So what kind of query can you build? So you can build a query around person, around meeting, around group to group, person to group, peer comparison, network person to person. So it's interesting because I don't know what we could do. Let's try one. Um, just to see what they're gonna ask. So here you enter your query name. You say how do you want to group you know, the analysis. So it can be up to 1 year. Um, so you have the meeting. Um, so what do you want to check? Only active users or all employees are inactive? So you can figure out what's the proper thing. I guess here there's a filter, so you can see the data that you set in when you injected the information. So all employees based on, I don't know, the region maybe equals, not sure. There's only one region here. Equals US. Um, which group of similar managers should be compared to each to measure employee share the same manager as the measured employee reports directly to the measured employee custom peer group. Interesting. Not sure what it is. Select message. What would you like to know about the interactions? So you have all the signals you can check here. So you can see the channel reactions when you like a post, channel message send, call hours, after hours, meeting hours. So you have all those signals that you can measure, and channel message send, count. I'm not sure what all this is. So I'm not sure about this one. Let's look at another one. Let's go back to Query Designer and let's do a network person to person or group to group. Maybe that one is to see how people interact between group. So same thing, enter query name. What would you like to know about the interactions? So do they send message? Basic metric, what is that? Content message send. How do you want to group the time investors? I don't know. Uh, want to exclude any collaborators. So what can I exclude? Okay, I can exclude, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to look at one region. Okay, so here if I had several regions, I can exclude one region. Here, if I do that, I will exclude everybody. Do you want the group? Maybe I can try something else in region to see if what does it say here. Yeah, maybe I want to exclude the CEO from this request. So organization is actually the department, if I understand correctly. Since I didn't ingest those data, I'm not sure what data were ingested. Um, how do you want to group those people who collaborate with time investors? So then you can group by manager, maybe? Is there a manager field? I guess. The level 1 manager or level 2 manager. Okay. So that's another query. So let's see another one. Last one, maybe. Meetings. New query. So, what do you want to know about meetings? I want to know meetings. People who are multitasking. I don't like that. I can change the display name. Okay. Which meetings? So I want to. Which meetings do you want to include in your query result? As you can see, there's a lot of things you can query. I just want to filter by organizer, maybe. Direct reports equals to. Not sure. Direct ports number. What's that? Not sure what's direct ports numbers, direct reports. Let's say I want. What if I put that your manager is equal to. Okay, so I can target someone. That might lead to some privacy questions here. Can you really do that? Even if you don't see the details, everything is de-identified in the results. But here, can you do that? Maybe you should check with your legal team or HR team. And organizational data, which meeting attributes and organizational data columns for the meeting you want to include. So I want to know who's the layer manager. Okay, so that's a kind of query you can create. So query designer. As you can see, there some were created. I don't know why I cannot add queries, but let's see this one. Teams as your company adoption of Teams. Okay. Save this template, you'll need to run 2 questions query below. There is even more. So here the query. It's interesting. The instant message send. The meeting hours with 18 or more. Okay, work week span. Networking outside organization. Interesting. The count. Okay, that's very, very interesting. A lot. Wow. Yeah. Calls per time slot. Wow. Which organism is that? Columns do you want to include for these employees? Organization and level of designation. So let's. No, I cannot run it. It's too bad. I would like to see what happens. So as you can see, there's a. I guess the query designer uh, is coming with more. You need to purchase an add-on, I guess, but you can really query around, against everything. That's just amazing. What how uh, detail detailed your query can be. And so if you really want to dig into specific division, specific behaviors, specific features, you have everything there to query. So that's I think that's what is interesting in this part. Um, there's a peer analysis here. I'm not sure what it is. So it has been, I guess it has been run. So so let's see what it is. One meaning measure external network size. That's interesting to see the manager's external network size. That's very interesting. So apparently you can do so much stuff, very, very detailed stuff. Internal network size. Wow, just amazing. So you can see that's what is interesting in workplace analytics. Um, but this part is only for an analyst or maybe some managers, but it's mostly for analysts, maybe in HR team who wants to query, or maybe a manager will ask, I would like to know how my team is behaving regarding that topic, and you can build the query and run the query and have detail analysis here. Um, and here I think there are plan that can be suggestion. Uh, so it's just suggestion, for example, to focus time within a team. There are also here some data source. So this is Microsoft 365 data source. There's organizational data, so the data you inject, I think that's the data injected, yeah, during the setup of workplace analytics. So you can see all the uh, all the columns that were in your Excel file that you ingested, because you need to be able to segment by those characteristic. You need to inject them. So it usually comes from your HR system, and you can inject them in workplace analytics, and then you can analyze that here. And you can also do the same thing with CRM. I think in this standard demo 10, there's no CRM data. So I think that's all about. I'm not sure what this is. Uh, let's see. Let's see what it's. It's an Excel file. So I guess you can export some analysis. Well, it's really, but nothing for February. So I'm not sure if it's, since it's a demo tenant. I'm not sure how far they went back. Yeah, let's try this one just to see if it's different. If there's more data, I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure what. So I still need some investigation, but that was my first time in unboxing um, workplace analytics. So what's really interesting is my organization, and with all those insights that can help a leader to better understand how his organization is working. There's a new feature coming I think this month it's in preview, as you can see, is Inspiration Library. So Microsoft um, made some curation about a lot of article they were part of or coming from HBR. Or, so you can read about some topics like culture, like well-being, impact, resilience. So let's see one of them. How to get ahead of stress before it overwhelms you. So yeah, that opens. I don't know who made this article, but opens an article so the leader can, you know, learn a little bit more about this topic. And finally, my team. I think I showed that already, but that's for the managers who can change the settings of their team here, but they can see, how their team is behaving. Explore group insights, a percentage of your group that has less than 15 minutes one-on-one time with managers each week. You have habits here. So you have specific data for tailored to the manager. So here, a lot of emails, not a not a lot of meetings apparently. It's I think it's just a demo site provided by Microsoft. So this is Teams for leadership and for managers that can be very useful. The data are I think, very useful to take action on changing the culture, changing some behaviors, because I think it's really key to better understand how your workforce is managing this new environment, this new hybrid work, working remote, having a huge impact on how we work. And we have seen, an increase of number of meetings, an increase of burnouts, uh, a lack of alignment, more silos than before due to COVID, and having those data to take action is really essential. So having those data to be able to say, okay, we have a problem. So and it's not just a perception. It's I have the data, and eventually I can ask my analyst to drill down into this data to see if it's a division, specific division, or it's a global problem. So that's the purpose of Viva Insights for leadership team. Hope this was helpful.